at the center of the country's energy future. We are doing everything in our power to accelerate and consolidate its development. With peak demand already exceeding 6,700 megawatts, the need for local generation and alternative sources of energy is urgent and well established. To advance this, the department, in partnership with the Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone, will this year host the KwaZulu-Natal Energy Indaba. This department-led initiative will bring together energy stakeholders in order to accelerate KZN's leadership in the national energy transition. Chairperson, the Colenso Power Project, while privately funded, is a catalytic investment project supported by the department through packaging and facilitation. It is valued at 9.78 billion rand, and it features a hybrid-based baseload power facility with clean fuels, hydrogen, and battery storage, marking a national-scale anchor for the Uthukela district. It is impossible to speak about industrial renewal without mentioning ArcelorMittal South Africa, AMSA. We are supporting the revitalization of AMSA, which remains a key anchor in the province's steel manufacturing value chain and a catalyst for supplier development and industrial jobs. For decades, AMSA stood as a pillar of Newcastle's economy, which supported jobs, SMMEs, and broader industrial activity. It is in this context that we welcome the recent announcement by the Minister of Trade, Industry and Competition, the Honorable Baxter, confirming that national government is developing a support plan to stabilize and reposition AMSA's Newcastle operations. The provincial government stands ready to partner in this effort, ensuring that infrastructure, energy, and logistical challenges are addressed. Our goal is to see AMSA emerging as a flagship steel beneficiation hub, contributing to local manufacturing, export competitiveness, and the broader economic recovery in the northern region. This is not only about protecting existing jobs, important as this is, but it is about restoring Newcastle's rightful place in our industrial future. In Newcastle, we are also working towards revitalizing the former Capocam site into a modern industrial park with warehousing, liquid storage, labs, and logistics infrastructure in order to create new energy and manufacturing opportunities for the northern part of the province. Chairperson, KwaZulu-Natal remains a national leader in automotive manufacturing, anchored by major investors such as Toyota South Africa, based in Prospecting. Toyota continues to drive innovation and resilience in our manufacturing base, including its investment in hybrid vehicle production, localization of components manufacturing, and supplier development. Through partnerships with the private sector and support from our department, we are working to strengthen the full automotive value chain, from logistics to skills development and black industrial participation. Coming to township and informal economy, we have always recognized the pivotal role that the township and rural economy plays in the broader economic development strategy of KwaZulu-Natal. And we are pleased to announce that we have finalized the KZN Informal Economy Master Plan, a blueprint to formalize, support, and elevate informal businesses through licensing systems, compliance support, and investment in shared infrastructure. The bulk buying program, also known as the Zimele Bulk Buying Scheme, led by Itala Development Finance Corporation.
Honorable MEC, can we just ask you to pause for a moment? Can we just have a look at what's happening with the sound? Can we ask all honorable members who are on the virtual platform to mute yourselves, please? may proceed, MEC.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. The bulk buying program, also known as the Zimele bulk buying scheme, led by Itala Development Finance Corporation and piloted in Mandeni, enables township and rural retailers to source stock affordably through grants, shifting purchasing power back into local hands because we want everyone to benefit and no one to be left behind. In addition to the above, we are actively facilitating other catalytic investments to boost small towns' economic growth and development. This includes the Princess Mkabayi Mall in Vryheid, which is now fully operational, the Prince Mangosuthu Buthelezi Mall in Mpangeni, which will revitalize the commercial heart of this town, and this will boost the development and growth of the retail sector in Umhlatuze municipality. A major expansion project which is underway at Richards Bay Minerals RBM, which is aimed at driving industrial activity and associated enterprise support. The expansion and modernization of the NPC Hoxton cement factory in the Reinkonyeni municipality in the South Coast, the KwaDukuza Precinct Value Center combining retails and logistics access in high-growth node, adding a much welcome development in KwaDukuza municipality, and the upcoming SAPI expansion project valued at 10.8 billion rand in Mkomazi in the South Coast. This will significantly bolster agro-processing, packaging, and value addition in the forestry economy. These developments, Honorable Chairperson, form part of a deliberate shift to unlock investment in areas that have historically been left behind. This will help to stimulate inclusive growth that bridges the rural-urban divide, as well as areas which have experienced stagnant economic and industrial growth. Chairperson, as announced by the Honorable Premier, KwaZulu-Natal will soon embark on one of the most ambitious infrastructure undertakings in its history, the launch of the bullet train project. We certainly noted that some honorable members in the SOPA debate did not fully grasp or appreciated what a project of this magnitude will entail for KwaZulu-Natal. In fact, this is a bold future-facing infrastructure project which has a potential to improve domestic mobility of goods and passengers between KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng. It also has a potential to improve and enhance regional trade. As the department, we fully support and applaud this initiative, for it represents a bold step towards economic recovery, job creation, and modernizing our provincial transport infrastructure, which are vital elements towards provincial economic growth and expansion. This project is not just about trains. It is about injecting momentum into our economy, creating thousands of jobs, and putting people back to work, not only when the train becomes operational, but during its construction and planning phases. It is a flagship job creation initiative and the first of its kind for this province, and therefore we are committed to supporting the necessary infrastructure upgrades and facilities improvements, and ensuring that this project actually helps to change the face of transportation in our province for generations to come. The cannabis and as an emerging industrial sector also needs to be emphasized, Honorable Chairperson. Our rural economy strategy also includes the formalization and expansion of the cannabis and hemp sector, not as a sideshow project, but as part of a centrally focused, legitimate economic activity. In this regard, we are piloting a shared cannabis processing facility in Bergville in partnership with the CSIR and the IDC. This will help support oil and fiber production and incubate small growers, thus ensuring that traditional producers are able to enter the value chain meaningfully. Honorable Chairperson, we are also supporting the establishment of Empilweni herbs distribution, pharmacy in Mtuba. Traditional health practitioners, THPs, continue to play a vital role in delivering culturally rooted and accessible healthcare to many communities in KwaZulu-Natal. In recognition of this and in alignment with our commitment to biodiversity, conservation, and sustainable resource use, we are proud to announce the establishment of the Empilweni Distribution Pharmacy for traditional health practitioners, which is located at the Hluhluwe Imfolozi Game Reserve. This initiative, led by Envir KZN Wildlife, represents a groundbreaking steps in supporting THPs with sustainable and ethical access to medicinal plants and animal byproducts, which are essential to their work. It will serve as a regulated hub for the sourcing, certification, training, and sustainable distribution of traditional medicinal materials. Key features of this pharmacy include the following: certified supply of medicinal plants and animal byproducts, ethically sourced from Envir's protected areas, quality control and assurance, improving the safety and reliability of traditional medicine, training programs for traditional health practitioners on sustainable harvesting, biodiversity protection, and conservation compliant practices. And lastly, collaborative engagement with local communities and other stakeholders. This is not just a health intervention, it is a sustainability solution. By reducing illegal harvesting pressures, the pharmacy will protect biodiversity while preserving the integrity and dignity of traditional healing. The Empilweni Pharmacy will empower practitioners, support community health, and ensure that KZN remains a leader in harmonizing indigenous knowledge systems with conservation imperatives. Honorable Chairperson, tourism is one of KwaZulu-Natal's greatest economic assets, and we are repositioning it not just as a sector, but as a strategic pillar of economic recovery and regional development. In 2024, the province was able to welcome 3.2 million domestic and 620,000 international visitors, who generated over 2 billion rand in revenue. This success is not just accidental. It is the result of consistent investment in tourism infrastructure, in marketing, in events and destination readiness. We are working closely with relevant stakeholders to grow KwaZulu-Natal's air connectivity. King Shaka International Airport remains a strategic asset, and we are pursuing partnerships with global carriers, including embarking on efforts to secure a direct route from Air France, as well as exploring new direct routes to India and the United Kingdom, among others. At the same time, the department is supporting the repositioning of our regional airports in order to boost domestic access and mobility, in order to unlock regional tourism circuits and stimulate new investment corridors. We have already started doing some work in Margate, in Newcastle, and Richards Bay. Richards Bay is poised to embark on a new expanded airport in keeping with rapid local industrial developments in the area. The Prince Bangoso Tubuteli's airport in Ulundi has undergone some vital repairs in its terminal facilities, improved safety compliance, and has received an additional R500,000 allocation for firefighting infrastructure and hangar refurbishment. The Mkuza Airport in the heart of the northern KZN area is also being developed towards CAT4 compliance, with plans underway to procure aircraft, rescue and firefighting vehicles. Honorable Chairperson, as we speak about the future of air connectivity and aviation linked infrastructure, it is important to highlight the role of skills development in advancing this sector. Today, Honorable Chairperson, I'm pleased to announce that we are joined at the gallery by two exceptional young graduates, Mrs. Duduzo Manzini and Ms. Phumlani Ntshangase, both from Mtubatuba in Mkhanyakude district, who are the proud products of the KZN ETIA Aeronautical and Mechanical Engineering bursary program. Phumlani Ntshangase became the first graduate of this flagship initiative when he completed his Bachelor of Engineering in Mechanical Engineering with a specialization in aeronautics from the University of Pretoria in 2024. He now serves in the ESCOM Graduate Engineer Training Program. Following closely behind him, Duduzo Manzini is set to graduate from the same program this May. Together, they represent the department's commitment to building a pipeline of technical talent that is rooted in rural KwaZulu-Natal, but capable of lifting our province into the skies of innovation. I think they deserve an applause from this House. Thank you, honorable members. These young engineers were fully supported by the department, from tuition, accommodation, to stipends and study resources, and their presence here today is testament to the transformative power of focused investment in our youth. We salute them and the promise they hold for KwaZulu-Natal's industrial and aviation future. Honorable Chairperson, our approach is clear, and that is why the department is prioritizing supporting catalytic tourism projects through public sector coordination and investor facilitation, and this includes enabling infrastructure like the long-awaited cable car project, which will unlock cross-border tourism potential. While we understand the delays that have been experienced with respect to the much-anticipated cable car project, which is to be located strategically in Okatlamba, in the majestic Drakensberg, we are doing everything in our power to fast-track the takeoff of this project without further delays. This is not just a standard domestic development, but it is a cross-border initiative involving two countries, South Africa and Lesotho, and two provinces, KwaZulu-Natal and the Free State. Understandably, this has made coordination complex and at times slow. But we are making progress. We are not working in isolation as KwaZulu-Natal or South Africa. Rather, we will be actively engaging our counterparts in these countries and areas in order to move towards a shared agreement and coordinated implementation. We realize that it has not been easy, but we hope to find each other, and we in KZN are committed to seeing this iconic, job-creating and destination-defining project through. We also are poised to position Durban as Africa's conference capital. Our work to promote Durban as Africa's conferencing and business tourism hub continues. We remain committed to retaining Africa's travel indaba as one of the continent's largest travel trade shows here in KwaZulu-Natal, and we are actively working with industry partners and national stakeholders to ensure that it remains a provincial asset. We have the infrastructure, we have the hospitality capacity, we have the story and the track record, and in this regard, we shall be doing everything in our power to engage with the Minister of Tourism to ensure that KwaZulu-Natal continues to play this role. There are other flagship leisure investments and cultural tourism anchors that I need to harp upon. Chairperson, we are proud to announce that Club Med Resort at Tinley Manor is now nearing completion and preparing to open in July 2026. This 2 billion rand worth investment will create over 2,000 permanent jobs, and alongside a luxury safari lodge in Upongolo, Club Med will offer a globally unique beach and safari experience, the first of its kind in sub-Saharan Africa. We are also supporting anchor projects in cultural tourism, including the following: the development of the Emakosini Valley, which is the Valley of Kings initiatives, which will establish a major cultural heritage tourism attraction in Zululand. Infrastructure upgrades in sites tied to the Zulu rural family history, as well as sites that preserve liberation memory. And lastly, the KZN film strategy, which recognizes the province's natural beauty and potential for location-based storytelling and production. We also emphasize that tourism development should be driven through our public entity, which is the KZN Tourism and Film Authority, which is styled KZN TAFA. Following the recent merger, KZN TAFA now integrates both tourism and the film sector, thus giving us a strategic platform to grow the province's brand and creative output in both tourism development and film production. Film production in particular holds immense potential for our province. As a province rich in breathtaking landscapes, culture and heritage, KwaZulu-Natal should not only be a location for film production, but we should be a storyteller. Through KZN TAFA, we are creating incentives and infrastructure to unlock this potential in order to attract both local and global productions. Coming to environmental affairs and nature conservation, Honorable Chairperson, economic transformation must walk hand in hand with ecological stewardship. And in KZN, the green economy is not only a future vision, but it is an active, growing sector. Through our department's environmental programs, we are creating jobs, building climate resilience, and restoring ecosystems, while ensuring that communities are at the center of conservation efforts. Through our invasive species program, this year we have allocated 74 million rand to invasive species control, and this program will clear more than 61,000 hectares of land, will create over 2,275 EPWP job opportunities, and improve biodiversity outcomes across priority bioregions. Green infrastructure and climate innovation is also a focus area for our department, which is invested in biodigesters, solar energy systems, and the province's first electric vehicle fleet unit. The transformative riverine management program in Ilembe district, which matches climate adaptation, river restoration, and job creation, and the rollout of carbon pilot projects in collaboration with academic institutions and local municipalities. The Green Skills and Climate Partnerships are building a new generation of climate-smart workers. Through partnership with the National Business Initiative, TVET colleges, and international organizations, we are training youth in renewable energy, ecological restoration, waste beneficiation, and carbon project development, supporting small green SMMEs to enter the biodiversity and climate adaptation sectors, and promoting community-based conservation enterprises that link protected areas with local economies. This is the foundation of a sustainable biodiversity economy where nature and livelihoods thrive together. In building climate resilience in rural areas, we are particularly focused on ensuring that rural communities, often the hardest hit by climate shocks, are equipped to adapt and thrive. Therefore, our program will prioritize the following: restoration of degraded agricultural land, water security and catchment protection, sustainable use of natural resources to ensure long-term food and livelihood security. So by linking climate action to economic opportunity, we are turning vulnerability into resilience and rural empowerment. Through waste economy, Honorable Chairperson, our waste economy interventions, the department supported 6 municipalities, 3 rural and 3 urban, with a combined total of 3.2 million rand during the 2024-2025 financial year as part of the Cleanest Municipality competition. Additionally, we extended support to 24 wastepreneurs, investing 3 million rand to bolster their enterprises, which in turn sustained over 100 permanent jobs in the waste sector. These wastepreneurs continue to play a pivotal role in job creation and environmental sustainability, and we will expand our support for them in the future and in the current financial year. Through ETIA's Waste Jobs program, we created 1,055 jobs in 2025 alone, and we are committed to creating even more in the year ahead. Furthermore, we will intensify efforts to register private waste enterprises under the waste norms and standards in order to unlock further employment opportunities and contributing to the growth of the waste economy sector across KwaZulu-Natal. Coming to our initiatives to engender institutional realignment and restructuring, Honorable Chairperson, I'm pleased to announce that one of the boldest interventions in this budget is the restructuring and repositioning of a program and a fund which was known as Operation Vula Fund, which has now been renamed by the Provincial Executive Council as the KZN Umnotho Fund. We are determined to make a fundamental shift in how we approach inclusive enterprise development in order to reach the poorest of the poor throughout the province of KwaZulu-Natal, and we have acknowledged the historical shortcomings of the erstwhile OVF, which delayed disbursements, poor alignment to sector needs, and inconsistent delivery on its promise to uplift entrepreneurs. This year, Umnotho Fund has been allocated 100 million rand, and this will be ring-fenced for enterprise development with disbursements guided by a new operational model currently being finalized. The KZN Umnotho Fund represents a renewed commitment by this administration to leave no entrepreneur behind and to ensure that small, often invisible enterprises have the tools and financial means they need to grow and thrive. Further details will be announced in due course in this regard. Coming to Ezemvelo, KZN Wildlife. Honorable Chairperson, Ezemvelo KZN Wildlife is one of KwaZulu-Natal's jewels and strategic assets. It deserves more support and help from all of us. One of the major shortcomings facing this entity is that it is grossly underfunded, and this hampers its ability to perform optimally. As a result, this organization has struggled to meet its conservation and tourism mandates, and its credibility with communities and stakeholders continues to face challenges. In spite of this, we dare not give up on Ezemvelo. We are committed to rebuilding it through financial injection and restructuring, through strategic leadership, integration into the biodiversity economy, and alignment with ecotourism objectives led by KZN TAFA. This entity will be embarking on revamped operations through a comprehensive commercialization program, and we want to assure honorable members of this House that commercialization does not mean privatization of Envir or KZN wildlife. Honorable Chairperson, with negatives are positives. Rhino poaching has declined in the province. This is because our dehorning program, technology-enhanced patrols and smaller fencing system and smarter fencing systems coordinated through Envir have continued apace. Thus, protecting biodiversity is essential for our ecotourism economy, and we will continue to strengthen this frontline defense of this jewel of our province. Honorable Chairperson, it would be remiss and irresponsible of us not to say anything about Itala Sock, which is popularly known as Itala Bank. Most of the woes facing this institution are caused by the fact that it is caught up in a regulatory gap, a gap that I believe Parliament can help close. The Financial Matters Amendment Act of 2019, as it stands, excludes provincial entities such as Itala Sock from being licensed banks. Yet Parliament's own records show that there was an intention to allow Itala to continue operating under exemptions and pending further deliberations. What is needed now is not only regulatory certainty, but a major transformation exercise to ensure that Itala Sock continues to stand as a pillar of development, equality, and opportunity in KwaZulu-Natal and beyond. Honorable Chairperson, in order for the department to fulfill its constitutional mandate, we have a number of entities that play a pivotal role in the delivery of the department's services. We have reduced our public entities from 12 to 10, the merging, overlapping mandates and improving efficiently. KZN Gaming and Betting Board and KZN Liquor Authority are now KZN Economic Regulatory Authority. The KZN Film Commission and Tourism KZN are now Tourism and Film Authority KZN. Our 10 public entities are not just administrative extensions, but they are delivery arms of economic development in this province, as they give our policies scale to our interventions and continuity to our long-term transformative and economic development agenda. Honorable Chairperson, the department will continue to explore avenues to bolster the ocean's economy, as this presents KwaZulu-Natal with another vital and essential area of economic growth and development. KwaZulu-Natal has a coastline of more than 600 kilometers, which presents this province with more opportunities to develop this hugely untapped economic industrial potential. Working hand in hand with various institutions, we hope to harness this huge sleeping giant into a significant contributor to the economy of KZN in order to expand economic activities and to help reduce poverty and unemployment. This is a budget rooted in agency, guided by policy, and driven by delivery. From energy and industrial growth to township revitalization, environmental recovery, and tourism resurgence. And we are repositioning KZN as a province of resilience, opportunity, and economic dignity. Chairperson, our entities are strategic levers that propel the department's mandate in priority sectors germane to the growth of the province. With this realization, we have allocated a budget of 2.397 billion rand to our entities as follows. 1. Dubai Trade Port Corporation, 513,101 million. as envelope KZN 968,156 million, KZN Economic Regulatory Authority 149,626 million rand, KZN Tourism and Film Authority 257,515 million rand, KZN Natal Shark Sport 73.442 million rand, Trade and Investment KwaZulu-Natal 111.305 million rand, Itala Development Finance Corporation 86.904 million rand, KZN Growth Fund Agency 39.947 million rand, Richards Bay Industrial Development Zone 136.436 million rand, Moses Kotane Research Institute 60.546 million rand. This totals to 2.396,978 billion rand. The administration retains the remainder of the Department of Economic Department, Tourism and Environmental Affairs retains the remainder of the budget allocated as follows. Administration 3.68.473 million rand, Integrated Economic Development Services 350.170 million rand, Trade and Industry Development 939.362 million rand, Business Regulation and Governance 230.284 million rand, Economic Planning 47.705 million rand, Tourism Development 384.008 million rand, Environmental Management 1.286.996 million rand. The total allocation of our budget for this year is 3.6 billion rand 998. I would urge, Honorable Chairperson, that this House supports our budget. Finally, I would like to thank all members of the executive, including the Honorable Premier, who provided us with strategic support in the work that we are doing in this portfolio, as it is pivotal in supporting the economic recovery of KwaZulu-Natal. We also owe a debt of gratitude to our social partners, business, labor, and civil society, whose invaluable support and collaboration have strengthened our resolve. To the business community, thank you for your continued support, investment, and confidence in our province. To labor unions and your advocacy for fair wages and decent work and social justice, thank you for your commitment in this regard. We also appreciate the role of the head of our department, Mr. Nhlakani Ponkontwana, and all the executives of our department, as well as the CEOs of our entities who played a pivotal role in ensuring that we are able to table this budget and this report to this House. And to the honorable members of this legislature and members of the portfolio committees, thank you for your commitment. Thank you for your robust debate, for your accountability and oversight. Your role in ensuring transparency and good governance has strengthened our democracy and will continue to enhance effectiveness in our public spending. To the people of KwaZulu-Natal, your resilience, hope, and unwavering faith in our vision inspire us every day. This budget is a promise to you, a promise to build a better future, to create opportunities in order to inspire new hope and leave no one behind. I thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you, MEC. We now call upon the Honorable M.D. Ndebele for 10 minutes, the Chairperson of Economic Development and Tourism. Honorable Member, the podium is yours.
Honorable House Chair, Honorable members of the Provincial Executive Committee, Baba, Unondaba, Mama Ugamakutwa, Unkosikazi wakoMadlukovu uSithenjwa, the Speaker of the Legislature, the Deputy Speaker, honorable members, head of the departments, invited guests. Sihlalo, kungenkulu intokozo nokuzithoba ukusukuma namhlanje ukuzofunda umbiko wekomiti lezokuthuthukiswa komnotho nezokuvakasha kwisifunda saKwaZulu-Natal. Sihlalo, ikomiti lithula umbiko othulwe i-department lapho bebeletha khona uhlelo lokusebenza futhi bephinde balethe khona isabelomali sabo sakulonyaka. Kuliqiniso ke sihlalo ukuba bavela ngaphambi kwekomiti ngomhla ka-27 March kuwo lonyaka esikuwo. Uma sibheka inyathelo siyithathile uqinisekisa ukuba le budget ifika la yilezi ezilandelayo. I-department yapresenta phambi kwekomiti ngomhla ka-27 lapho yayiletha khona uhlu lwayo lesikhashana phambi kwekomiti. Emva kwalokho ngomhla ka-28 endaweni yakaDukuza baphinde bathula uhlu lwabo phambi kwekomiti futhi benawo wonke ama-entities e-department olishumi bathula futhi kubo bonke abantu ababethintekayo kuleya ndawo yakaDukuza. Ngomhla ka-1 April kuwo lonyaka esikhuluma ngawo le komiti esilithulela umbiko laphinde futhi lafika okanye laya ngaphambi kwekomiti lezezimali lapho bathula khona futhi lo mbiko. Siyaqinisekisa ke siyikomiti ukuthi lo mbiko uyahambisana nohlelo lokusebenza likazwelonke likahulumeni olubizwa nge-NDP luphinde luhambisane nohlelo lethu lokusebenza kwi-provincial government okanye kuhulumeni wesifunda olubizwa phecelezi nge-Provincial Growth and Development Strategy. Honorable House Chair, the department tabled the budgets and their main allocation was 3.6 billion allocated across all programs. The department has about 7 programs and our portfolio deals with part 6, and that is the 6 that we want to account for. On those 6, Honorable Chair, there is Program 1, which deals with administration, and it was allocated 376 million. And this money was in the main to deal with building internal capacity to support the project implementation and promote the MTDP Strategic Priority 3, which endorses the need for capable, ethical, and developmental states. Program 2 deals with integrated economical development services. 350 million was allocated mainly to promote economic growth, job creation, and which is done through ukuthuthukisa nokuphuhlukiswa kwezomnotho. Program 3 deals with trade and service development and 939 million was allocated for trade and investment promotion, sector development, and strategic initiatives. 88.6% of the budget for this program, for the program catered for, is transferred to these 10 entities I've spoken about. Program 4, Business Regulation and Governance. 230 million was allocated for creation of conducive regulatory environment for sustainable development and support for both formal and informal business sector. Program 5 was for economic planning. 47.7 million was allocated mainly to formulate strategies for economic development and economic research and projects. Program 6, tourism. 384 million was allocated for tourism planning, tourism growth and development, which also is driven by the 2 entities under this program. Honorable Chairperson, the Portfolio Committee noted the baseline increase of about 4% in this particular department. The committee also noted that only 4 programs recorded the budget growth when compared to the last year baseline. There are also notable allocation for catalyst projects which are allocated, such as the one MEC bekhuluma ngayo, campus commercialization, Operation Vula, mentorship, training, youth funding initiative, and LED initiative, to name but just the few. We emphasized, Honorable Chair, as a committee, that this funding must be executed with extra care and exact. Honorable Chair, the department further reported that 2.4 billion will be transferred to 10 entities. This means that approximately 67% of 2024-2026 budget allocation will be transferred at entity level. The department also gave the presentation in detail of each and every one of these particular entities. Honorable Chair, the committee noted that the department further explained that these entities are, and we believe this is important as a committee, that all these entities where these funds are transferred, they are important integral part of the provincial government. And their spending must be monitored, and they must account as just like we make our department account, because we believe that's where the bulk of the funds lies. We also, when we analyze their APP, note that their target of 100%, they have targeted about 100% in spending and ensuring that service providers are paid in time. We also support the fact that the department is in line with the transformation agenda of ensuring that about 20% is spent on African supply, 25% on African suppliers, 20% on women, 25% on youth, and 7% on people with disabilities. On the question of Operation Vula Fund, Honorable House Chair, the committee noted that there are lots of challenges that while this project seems to be important, but there are lots of challenges that engulf these committees. In noting those challenges, we have also noted that the department has been struggling in ensuring that at SMS level, there is the recruitment of women. And then we have also noted with concern about 64.7 million transferred to Itala for operational cost. And we have also noted that there is an increased spending of government which does not match the organogram. In response to this, as a department, we have then resolved to regularly monitor this particular spending. The majority of the members of the committee approved this particular budget. In conclusion, honorable members, as the portfolio committee would like to thank the MEC Unondaba for always availing himself and ensuring that his support together with his HOD and CFO, and we recommend that the House supports this budget. I thank you.
Hold on, members. Thank you very much. I need to compose myself after that. We call upon the Honorable B.N. Sithole Molloy for the report of the Chairperson on Environmental Affairs for 10 minutes.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Honorable Chair, members of the Executive Council present, honorable members, ladies and gentlemen, it is an honor to present the budget report on behalf of the Portfolio Committee on Conservation and Environmental Affairs. The report I table today provides a brief summary of the Portfolio Committee's deliberations on the 2025-26 budget and annual performance plans for both Program 7 Environmental Affairs and its entity Envir, KZN Wildlife. Inputs provided by shareholders and when the Portfolio Committee facilitated stakeholder participation during the budgetary process. Concerns raised by the committee during deliberation and resolution taken by the committee after thorough consideration of the report. Our submission of the information by the department, the committee acknowledge and appreciate the details in the signed annual performance plans of both Environmental Management Program and Envir KZN Wildlife. The documents which were received by the committee on the 2nd of April 2025 provided a useful basis for engagement with both the department and the entity. While there were some concerns regarding selected indicators and targets, the committee eventually considered that the anticipated reprioritization exercise and engagement thereof would address all the prevailing issues. Budget consideration process, the consideration of the budget and the evaluation of appropriateness of the financial resource allocated are some of the many elements of legislative oversight. Intent on having a role in the budget process and contributing to the budget oversight, the committee met with both the department and Envir KZN Wildlife on the 11th of April 2025 to consider their 2025-26 budget and APP. The committee meeting was presided by the session facilitated by the Finance Portfolio Committee on the 25th of March 2025, where Provincial Treasury did a comprehensive briefing on the budget. This was done to enhance honorable members' understanding of the budget, thereby sharpening the scrutiny and oversight over the budget and the executive performance. The above-mentioned engagement session was held on the 30th of January at Inkandla Indoor Sports Center under King Cetshwayo District. Stakeholders applauded the department for good service delivered in the areas such as the provision of necessary circular economy skills to cooperatives. The committee commends the department for this good work and encourages the department to continue with a similar intervention across the province. The committee raised the following concerns to be addressed. Stakeholders requested the department to conduct training and awareness campaign on waste management for each Municipality and Traditional Council, as municipalities and traditional council are faced with significant waste management challenge. Community members requested that their ward be included in Alien Invasive Species Program for 25-26 financial year, as alien invasive species poses challenges to biodiversity and ecosystem and human well-being. A concern that Envir neglected the forestries and wildlife parks at King Cetshwayo District Municipality by removing staff and security guards was raised, and there was a request to revive these forests and parks to preserve the history of the district and attract tourists, which will result in a local economic development. Lastly, members of the committee also raised the concern on private parks owners whose wildlife escape their parks bese bezodla imfuyo yabantu and leyo mfuyo futhi iphinde ingenwe izifo ngenxa yokuhamba kwazibo kwalezo imfuyo yabo phakathi kwezilwane esizifuyileyo. I-analysis ye-budget ka-2025-26 ne-APP Program 7, House Chair, during the Portfolio Committee budget hearing, the department tabled a budget of 1.2 billion for 2025-2026. The department reported this allocation include EPWP conditional grant of 6.161 million. The committee notes that the equitable share increase over the MTEF and the 2025-26 growth of 4.4 is above inflation. When tabling the budget, the department provided further details and report that the 2025-26 budget allocates 29.943 million to environmental policy, planning and coordination, 28.506 million for compliance and enforcement, 67.659 million caters for environmental quality management, and 1,099 billion allocated for biodiversity management, and 43.48 million for environmental empowerment services. The department further reported that the 2025-26 it will continue to utilize Envir as the implementing agent to the township and rural economies revitalization strategy and alien invasive species program. Honorable Chair, with the report, we want to report also that in line with Envir, they presented what the committee was concerned about. We were concerned with the fact that the number of EPWP that was allocated in 2024-25 was about 9,000, but now we are now having about 2,000 and odd. That means that there is a shortfall of about 7,000 plus, and we are hoping that the department will look at that because there is a need for those job opportunities for our people that are in need of those jobs. Conservation and Environmental Affairs Portfolio Committee, we have our priorities and we have identified biodiversity management, EPWP, as our project and focus for this financial year. Community beneficiation, waste management, landfill site monitoring and compliance, air quality monitoring, the state of air quality monitoring station and intervention, Envir infrastructure maintenance and funding, progress and challenges, climate change response, and we're hoping that the department will adhere to our call that they must also ensure that the infrastructure for air quality is put in place. We talk about all the other matters that were raised by communities, but I'm not going to waste more time. Chair, our report also stated, as I have said, we have resolved as the committee, having considered and deliberated on the main budget and APP for both ATIA's environmental program and Envir KZN wildlife. The honorable members of the committee voted as follows per political party. ANC supported the budget, IFP supported the budget, DA supported the budget, MKP supported the budget, and EFF did not attend the meeting. With the above, the 2025-26 main budget and APP for environmental affairs was unanimously adopted by the Conservation and Environmental Affairs Portfolio Committee. Honorable Chair, we would like to, in conclusion, to thank the Honorable MEC for the work that he has been always, when we call him to come before the committee, he comply, and the department and the head of department. I want also to thank all the members, honorable members of the committee and our support staff for ensuring that we do our work diligently, and we are hoping that we'll continue with that, the support that we get from the department when we ask for the information they give us, and also the MEC avails himself when we call for the department to come in before the committee. We'll do our oversight as responsible as possible, and the committee recommend that the House vote in support of the budget. I thank you, Honorable Chair.
Thank you very much, Honorable Sithole Moloi. The next honorable member for 8 minutes is from the MK, the Honorable Z.G. Ngo. Remember, the floor is yours.
Honorable Chair, ngicela ukubingelela our President engekho phakathi kwethu uCommander in Chief uNqamalala, ngibingelele uMEC engaphathi kwethu, ngibingelele members in the gallery, ngibingelele honorable members akhona la ngaphathi kwethu. Today I will start my debate by quoting amazwi okugcina esotsha lomzabalazo Solomon Kalushi Mahlangu owasishiya kuyona lenyanga ephezulu, open quote. Tell my people that I love them and they must continue to fight. My blood will nourish the tree that will bear fruits of freedom. Close quote. Lamazwi ngiyawasho nje ngoba ayisiprofeto sokuthi kwakuzozalwa lesi sihlahla esiwumkhonto wesizwe phansi okuyisona esizokhulula abantu abamnyama. Ngiyafisa nje ukwazi ukuthi makungathi uyavuka namhlanje Solomon angathini mayengafica ukuthi iANC kaRamaphosa seyadayisa ngomzabalazo kubabulali bakhe iDA ngenxa yama blue lights. Honorable Chair, the debate before us today is one of the most crucial one because it talks about total economic emancipation of our people in this province. When looking at the core functions of this department, which amongst others is to drive economic development strategies of the department, as well as to promote the development of small business enterprises, just from these two core functions, you realize how crucial it is, this department, to our people. But when you look at the mission of this department, you start to understand why the economy of KZN is stagnant. Just listen to this. Our mission is to enable inclusive economic growth by enabling trade, investment, and tourism while ensuring sound environmental management and climate resilience. Kuzwakala kumnandi ngoba kuyisingisi. But siwumkhonto wesizwe phansi. Le mission siyibona nje iphethwe kunobuvila phakathi kulo hulumeni wenhlanganisela. Besilindele nje ukuthi mhlambe bekuzoba khona namagama athi uqina athi facilitate, encourage and contribute. Honorable Chair, the debate before us today is one. Honorable Chair, singumkhonto wesizwe phansi sikholela kutheni isikhathi sesifikile manje ukuthi abantu abamnyama nabangenalutho bahlomule ngokugcwele kumnotho wezwe lwabo. Ngazo zonke indlela ezamukelekile nangazo zonke izinhlaka zikahulumeni iphele le ndaba yokuhlomula komntakabani. Ngikusho nje ngoba Ngikusho lokhu nje ngoba nje le eDubai Trade Port currently kuna 50 operational business investors of which only 17 are black owned business. Ubulungisa abukho kulento namanje umuntu omnyama usalandela ngemumva kwabamhlophe. Umbuzo uthi ingabe lo mnyango uzokwazi yini ukufukula umnotho wase KZN? Honorable Speaker, as the MK Party, we note the budget presented for this department, but we do not believe it is enough to execute the critical task given to it, especially that of promoting and facilitating economic empowerment programs. As MK Party, we wish to see these kind of programs getting bigger shares of allocation so as to include more ordinary people in the economic participation. Honorable Chair, Umkhonto weSizwe strongly believes that confronting and overcoming the structural legacies of apartheid and colonial domination requires a robust and transformative socio-economic strategies. And in this regard, Honorable MEC, we need to speak openly about challenges faced by our SMMEs, especially in black communities. We have to address red tape's problems when our people want to access business support and financial support as well as access to the market. Turnaround times for issuing of business licenses and businesses registration problems, they form part of the challenges faced by SMMEs, and this needs to be attended immediately. Empowerment of SMMEs and cooperatives are much important for our people. Allocating more funds for izindawo ezisemakhaya nasemalokishini kuyolekelela kakhulu ekufukuleni umnotho. Getting more budget allocation will also help Envir to manage human wildlife conflicts where the entity is struggling to manage game farms, ikakhulukazi ezindaweni ezinjengoZululand, la amabhubesi asebeke impilo yabantu engcupheni. Adla imfuyo yabantu kodwa isinxephezelo abasitholi. Sisabanga khona nje ukuthi akukho umphefumulo osuke walahleka ngale nkinga. Honorable Speaker, Honorable Chair, according to the Stats SA informal sectors, employment accounted for 19.5% of total employment in the fourth quarter of 2024 and becoming the second largest source of jobs after the formal sector, which means informal economy is also a lifeline for millions of our people, and this cannot be SMMEs alone, but also hawkers, street vendors, puzzle shops, which need serious attention by this department and probe funding, even incubation programs for mentorship. We are, however, doubting that as the MK Party, these issues will be attended by this government of provincial uncertainty. Solomon Somloma ohloniphekileyo sekucacile kodwa ukuthi konke lokhu okuhle esikuphakamisayo siwumkhonto wesizwe kophinde kwenziwe yiwo futhi uhulumeni womkhonto wesizwe ngoba njengamanje uhulumeni leli qembu lilokhu liqhubekile nokuzigwazela nje ibhece kuma by election. Abantu bakithi bathi sikhulule emkhonto wesizwe kulo hulumeni wamasela iANC abadayisi inkatha abacindezeli iDA lo hulumeni wokuzibeka ongavotelwanga. Ngikusho lokhu nje ngoba emhlanga kuyimanje umkhonto wesizwe uyagwaza and sesiwabonile ama report ka IEC ukuthi kuthiwa ayikho lento yene yecala benilifakile. Abanye balibala ukuthi stop MK kuyimanje nje sibhizi siyabagwaza and ayikho into abazoyenza ngoba umphakathi waKwaZulu-Natal ubakhombisile ukuthi uyaba reject awubafuni bantshontsha amavoti bahleli laba phethe uhulumeni kodwa asikaze bebavotela. Sithi nje ngalokho siyawuthatha uhulumeni uzobuyela kithi lama blue lights azophuma. Ngiyabonga.
Thank you very much. The order, honorable members, order. Settle down, honorable members. The next honorable member for 8 minutes is the Honorable Ban Prakash of the IFP.
Thank you, Honorable Chair. Greetings to the Honorable Premier, honorable MECs, honorable members, and the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Today, as the Inkatha Freedom Party, we rise with a clear and unwavering message. This budget is not only a document of hope, but a statement of action. As we support the 2025-2026 budget, we welcome the 6,161 million EPWP conditional grant. This grant is a critical tool to provide meaningful employment to our citizens who continue to suffer in the grips of poverty and despair. The IFP maintains that environment protection cannot be confined to symbolic events on World Environmental Day. It must be a sustained, all-year priority. The climate crisis is not a distant threat. It is upon us and intensifying. The Paris Agreement adopted in 2015 at COP21 set clear global commitments to limit global warming to below 2 degrees Celsius, striving for 1.5 degrees Celsius. We have a duty to localize those commitments. The devastating floods of 2022 and the more recent floods in KwaZulu-Natal must serve as a clarion call to attention. If we do not act with urgency, such disasters will continue to reverse our province's developmental gains. We must integrate climate education into our schools, equipping both educators and learners with the knowledge to become stewards of sustainability. Air pollution remains a persistent and an under-addressed health hazard in our province. For years, we have heard the department's intention to develop a comprehensive air quality management plan, yet concrete timelines are elusive. District municipalities, particularly those in high-risk zones, like the N2 development corridor and the RBIDZ, have long awaited assistance in crafting their own plans. Progress, however, has been painfully slow. Equally concerning is the state of the Province Air Quality Management Office, which continues to be constrained by chronic staff shortages and insufficient resources. Many of our air quality monitoring stations have been non-operational for nearly 5 years, rendering our data unavailable. While we welcome the 7.2 million allocation to replace outdated equipment, this must be accompanied by a clear, time-bound implementation plan. This is not merely an operational issue. It is a matter of public health. We commend the department's ongoing efforts to combat invasive alien plants, especially along KZN coastline. The target to create 7,725 work opportunities through this program is commendable. Not only does it address unemployment, it also plays a vital role in ecosystem rehabilitation and biodiversity preservation. The IFP applauds the waste economy and the green economy initiatives. However, we urge the Honorable MEC to ensure transparency and influence all allocations to Envir wildlife. Detailed project plans and budget breakdowns for 2025-2026 financial year must be made public. It is disheartening to note that only 2,248 work opportunities are projected through environmental public employment programs this year, a drastic reduction of over 7,000 from the previous year. This must be urgently reviewed. Vacant posts within the department must be filled without delay. Human-wildlife conflict continues to place rural communities in danger, especially those living adjacent to protected areas. Communities near Shlushluwe and Flozi Park live in constant fear as dangerous animals breach reserves. We reiterate our call for the finalization of a policy and action plan to manage these incidents. Victims who have lost livestock or suffered injury must be compensated swiftly, and game reserve fencing must be fully operational at all times. This is not negotiable. It is a matter of life and death. We are gravely concerned about illegal sand mining, which is disabling the environment and worsening coastal erosion. The IFP calls on the department to ensure that affected communities benefit meaningfully from these operations and that environmental regulations are strictly enforced. Honorable Speaker, in 2017, the late Prince Buthelezi, may God bless his soul, who was an ambassador for Save the Rhino, called on the Justice Department to investigate allegations of corruption in rhino poaching cases, amid allegations that magistrates and prosecutors have been involved. 8 years later, we are seemingly stuck. In 2024, 228 rhinos were lost. This year alone, 13 rhinos have been poached. On this critical issue of rhino poaching, the IFP once again calls for intelligence-driven investigation and a nationwide inquiry into potential collusion between poachers and corrupt officials. Poachers must be treated as criminals of the highest order. Our courts must impose stringent, exemplary sentences. At the same time, we must actively empower local communities to take part in protecting our natural heritage. Illegal dumping is another blight on our environment. It not only mars the beauty of our landscape, it poses a serious health and ecological risk. The IFP calls for tougher penalties for offenders and all landfill sites to be licensed and fully compliant with the National Environmental Management Act. Too far many municipalities are failing in this regard, and they must be held accountable. KwaZulu-Natal cannot afford to sit on the sidelines while the planet burns, floods, and erodes. Time to act is now. Let us lead with urgency and resolve.
Honorable Ban Prakash, thank you. Your time is up.
Thank you.
Honorable Dirks. Thank you very much. The next honorable member is the Honorable B.M. Zuma of the ANC for 6 minutes.
Honorable MEC, the chairperson of this portfolio committee, Honorable Ndebela, honorable members, HOD, and other departmental officials, ladies and gentlemen. This debate should not only speak to the 2025-26 budget and plans that lies ahead, but it should also take stock and appreciate the significant progress that this department has registered, which has laid a solid foundation for sustainable economic growth and inclusive job creation that we envisage and desperately need. This is important as the road we have traveled and the advances we have made is what conveys the firm message that we have moved forward towards the accomplishment of our objectives we set ourselves. They tell us that in the end, no matter how long the road we still have to travel, we will indeed will, as President Thabo Mbeki once said. Here I'm referring to the department's unqualified audit outcomes since the financial years of 2020-2021, reflecting a commitment of prudential financial management, consistent adherence to financial regulations, and transparent in reporting. The significant progress that has been made in our KwaZulu-Natal regional airports, such as Mkhuze Airport and Pietermaritzburg Airport, which resulted in the creation of 455 job opportunities in the 6th administration term of office. The building of Utwaelo Aquaculture and Fish Processing Facility, which generated over 70 job opportunities, which this portfolio committee got pressure of seeing just recently in our oversight visit to Mkhanyakuti district. The attraction of over 18 billion investment in the province of KwaZulu-Natal, resulting to more than 20 job opportunities. Honorable members, these are just some of the many achievements of the ANC-led government in their previous administration, to which this administration is now building upon, which tells that, indeed, in the end, no matter how long the road we still have to travel, we will win, brick by brick, township by township, enterprise by enterprise. Whilst the challenges of poverty, inequality, and joblessness, particularly among our youth and in rural communities, are real and persistent, whilst the challenges of fiscal constraints that have resulted in reduced transfers to provinces, cutback in conditional grants, and the pressure on the departments like ETIA to do more with less are also real. As the ANC, we will continue to advocate for fiscal justice, for progressive taxation, for curbing illicit financial flows, and for building a developmental state that prioritizes the poor and working class. Yes, the road is hard, but the ANC is working it with vision that this department has aligned to. Honorable members, ANC support is not a blank check, but it is a strategic transformation tool to drive economic recovery, growth, and development in KwaZulu-Natal. We do so fully aware of our responsibility as public representative. We will therefore continue to exercise our oversight role with vigor, integrity, and principle, ensuring that every rand spent contributes meaningfully to job creation, enterprise development, and the upliftment of our people. Where there is underperformance, we'll demand accountability. Where is innovation and impact, we will comment and replicate. This is what we build, how we build capable and ethical state. Let it be known that the ANC does not support budget. We support results. We support accountability. Above all, we support the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Let us continue to walk this path of transformation together with discipline, with purpose, and with a shared commitment to build a better life for all. Honorable Chairperson, abantu ba-grandstanda njengokuwina ama-by-elections. Ake sibe factual. Since 2029, sibe na 18 by-elections. Since 29 May 2024, sibe na 18 by-elections. ANC win 7, IFP win 5, MKP win 5, EDA win 5. Uposta kanjani usawina 5 nje abanye belida kulama by-elections. Let's be factual. We ANC support this budget. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Honorable members, order, honorable members, please don't drown the speaker out. Honorable members, Honorable Dirks, can you please call your members to order? Remember Rule 56, please, honorable members. The next honorable member is the Honorable Aliso Hadebe of the MK for 8 minutes.
Greetings, Honorable Chairperson. Ngibingelele undaba ezethu inkosi yasemadungeni ingekho. Ngibingelele uPresident uJacob Mhlanganyela uZuma, umvuso wenyamazana engekho. I extend revolutionary greetings to the members of Umkhonto weSizwe Party on my left and the society at large. Sorry. Honorable Chairperson, I stand before you today fueled by a deep-rooted hatred of poverty. I hate poverty. I hate inequality. I hate unemployment. I hate neo-colonialism within our land. When Umkhonto weSizwe Party was born, this hatred in me was transformed into a pageant, the pageant that drives me to tirelessly fight against inequality and injustices that we are still witnessing today. Umkhonto weSizwe Party vehemently oppose any collaboration with colonial and neoliberal forces along with their descendants who continue to uphold and defend colonial aspirations as witnessed in Honorable Broadcastle. If you disagree with me, DA members, do you support the expropriation of land without compensation? The answer is simple, no. We'll never support that. Chairperson, today we oppose your budget performance report of 2024-2025 and your budget of 2025-2026. Specifically, I wish to draw your attention to vote 4, which pertains to economic development, tourism, and environmental affairs. With a budget of 3.6 billion, this vote is quite significant for your overall budget. However, the mid-year revenue collection by this department was a mere 382 million, far short of 429 million, which was the initial target. Chairperson, unfortunately, the shortfall in this revenue collection is linked to programs such as horse racing and casino taxes, programs that are well known for discriminatory policies and always associated with neocolonialism. My question is, who owns these casinos? The answer is explicit. The industry is predominantly white. Even on this very day, the same goes for the horse racing industry, where Black South Africans remain systematically excluded. Black people are only involved when they bet and gamble, while the wealth generated from such activities enriches a select white individuals. As Umkhonto weSizwe Party, we are unashamedly oppose this budget, which glaringly overlooks our values, including poor communities across the provinces, traditional institutions and leadership, rural development and creation. Please let me remind you, honorable members, Amakhosi are the custodians of our land and the anchors of our development. Often, they do not seek our vote nor yours. The visible exclusion of traditional leaders by this department, and therefore the budget is not only disrespectful, but also undermines the cultural heritage of our communities. I expected our esteemed colleagues from IFP to raise the objection to this budget report, as they have long positioned themselves as champions of our culture and traditions. However, speechless as I am, I wonder if their participation in government of GPU coalition has led to some amnesia regarding the crucial values that define our society. You have sold out our people, IFP. Now our ANC and NFP by taking a bait which led to the forming of coalition with oppressors. Nimbethe nabacindezeli. Nimbethe nabacindezeli okwabelungu abathatha izwe lethu. You are now masquerading as a government of the people. Deep down in your heart, you know that you are upholding the interest of white monopoly capital. Kazi nokwenze njani ngo-2026. Let us take closer let us take a closer look at Dube Transport, where we currently have 50 operational investors. Of these investors, only 17 are black-owned businesses. This is a mere 34% of the operational investors. Yet the government is subsidizing most of the cost. Given South Africa's economic context and the urgent need for equity, it is evident that Umnyango is lacking a coherent plan to address this disparity. The budget reflects dismal failure to leadership. For instance, mid-year expenditure for Program 1 exceeded projection due to corruption, with over expenditure of 14.8 million on goods and services for non-budgeted campaigning. At the same time, Program 3, which include compensation of employees, underspent by 9.7 million due to vacant posts. This is criminal given that unemployment in this province is so high. Program 4 and Program 5 also had underspending of 7.6 million and 8 million respectively. This is a sign of leaderless institution where even the executive has no interest in the economic emancipation of our black people.
Just hold on, honorable member. There's a point of order. There are 2 points of order. I'll take one and then the other. I'll start with the Honorable Legit.
As Chair, I rise on Rule 74.1c. The Speaker, Honorable Hadebe, had made a personal reflection on the Honorable Brautiseth. Please, could you make a ruling on that?
Thank you for raising that. Honorable Member, you had said or mentioned the Honorable Brautiseth earlier in your speech. Were you making a personal reflection against the Honorable Brautiseth in his person?
Chairperson, what do you mean? You mean that I have to change my speech?
I didn't ask you to change your speech.
What do you mean? Because this is my speech, Chairperson.
So you wrote something in your speech on the personality and personal reflection of that Honorable Brautiseth. Is that correct?
No, please remind me, Chairperson.
What is that I said? It's written there. Tell us if that is the case.
What is it, Chairperson, that I've said?
Okay, we'll assist you by looking at the Hansard, and we'll make a ruling on it.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. There was another point of order. Yes, Honorable Member.
Thanks, Honorable Chair. I am rising on Rule 55(1) of the Standing Rules. Is it parliamentary to where uspenza namazaza mawuzo debate?
Thank you for raising the question of attire. Would remind honorable members that our attire must be in keeping with the rules of the House. There's nothing more to state on that. You may continue, honorable member.
Can I continue, Chairperson?
Yes, you may. No, honorable member.
This is criminal, Chairperson, given that unemployment in this province is high. Program number 4 and 5 is also had underspending of 7.6 million and 8 million respectively. Chairperson, let me come back to Honorable Maldopa's debate. From your debate, Honorable Maldopa, you mentioned that the Department of Education plans to employ assistant educators. I would like to remind you, Honorable Maldopa, that these are qualified graduates who are in dire need of permanent employment. Employing them would not only benefit their livelihood, but also contribute to the growth and development of this province economy. So, in conclusion, Chairperson, Umkhonto Wesizwe Party cannot support the budget that perpetuates inequalities a budget that fuels unemployment rate, and a budget that ignores our traditional institution, a budget that is never managed properly, and a budget that is earmarked for political and personal gains at the expense of the people of KwaZulu-Natal. I thank you.
Mind your step, honourable member. The next honourable member is the Honourable H.S. Lidget of the Democratic Alliance for 12 minutes.
Thank you, House Chair, and greetings to the Honourable MEC Zondi and to members of the House. How the MK takes itself seriously is an enigma. Criticizing the GPU, but let's not forget that under Zuma, their savior and president, the unemployment rate increased from 22.5% to 27.5%. Public debt ballooned, electricity prices skyrocketed 350%, and our country was in recession. Not to mention that Zuma cost the country 500 billion in state capture. There's nothing revolutionary or of service to the people in these hard truths. But back to important business. In March, KZN's Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs Portfolio Committee conducted oversight inspections in Umkhanyakude. The first was to the Uchwayelo Fish Processing Project, where we arrived at a thatched structure on the roadside just before the Kosi Bay border. With no signage or indication of the purpose of the facility, we were ushered to inspect 4 small containers, 1 refrigeration container without a secure electricity supply, 2 preparation facilities, and an office space. A small thatched structure had been erected to serve as a restaurant. To the average passerby, this project would have gone unnoticed. The second project visited was a marula factory, a stunning brand new facility, but there was a catch. Nobody was there and nobody had used the facility for the entire week. The reason for my recounting these oversight visits is that while ETIA may institute well-meaning projects, if it's not well organized and outcomes-based, then the department fails at its core purpose. While there are problems facing ETIA, there are just as many solutions. And as the government of provincial unity, I also know that we are working to move beyond rhetoric and to embrace these opportunities and solutions together. First, we must confront the economic reality. According to Stats SA, KZN's unemployment rate was at 44.7% in December 2024. While this sounds like a shocking statistic that can just be bandied about, we must not forget that this is the daily struggle faced by millions of people in KZN. And the fact is that our economic woes are likely to be compounded against the backdrop of recent United States tariffs, which impose a 25% duty on South African automotive exports and threatening one of our province's economic pillars. KZN's automotive industry is vital for jobs and investment, and it now faces unprecedented risk. Without proactive trade diplomacy and immediate economic diversification, thousands more could be left unemployed. Another economic threat that we face is the sugar industry. It's facing huge challenges. Recent reports reveal that more than 16,000 jobs are at loss, pushing this crucial sector to the brink of collapse. However, the solution is within reach and government can play a key role here. The crisis is due to a combination of factors, including the long-term decline in production, the impact of climate change, and economic pressures such as the sugar tax and cheap imports. This has been worsened by the civil unrest, the 2022 floods, and the financial instability of big players, including Tonga Hewlett and Gledo Sugar Mill, who have entered business rescue. These challenges have led to job losses, revenue decline, and uncertainty across the industry. While there are efforts to diversify into products such as sustainable fuels and bioplastics, success depends on urgent government support and investment. A multi-stakeholder approach is now more critical than ever. Collaboration between stakeholders, communities, and government are required to find effective resolutions to the declining industry. The DEAR-led Western Cape has shown that proactive economic management focused on strategic sectors such as agriculture and technology significantly boosts employment, and it's time that KZN adopts this proven model. While there are major economic threats, there are also very big opportunities. The cannabis and hemp industry has a staggering potential size of 28 billion, with the capacity to create between 10,000 and 25,000 jobs across South Africa's value chain. and KwaZulu-Natal is in a prime position to take advantage of this. Etia has invested in a hemp cannabis shared processing facility in Okaklamba local municipality. However, this is a drop in the ocean and it should be ramping up all efforts in the sector. Hemp fiber products produced in South Africa alone have huge export potential. In one example, local women produced 20,000 hemp fiber bags, which were sold in New York. Now, this is an example of how we can tackle unemployment and create a booming economy in KZN. Speaking of opportunities, tourism was once KwaZulu-Natal's golden goose. Today, not only has the goose stopped laying eggs in the province, it has migrated to the Western Cape. One of the main problems is eThekwini's chronic water pollution. 6 major beaches once again recently registered dangerously high E. coli levels, including Laguna, Doonside, and Wilkelsspruit, where the beaches were closed once again before Easter. Etia has 3 criminal charges against eThekwini, including those against senior officials, which are ongoing since January 2022 and which remain unresolved. This inertia emboldens negligence and environmental mismanagement. The National Prosecuting Authority needs to finalize these criminal cases and hold responsible officials accountable. Etia must ensure that this comes to a conclusion. Otherwise, what is the point of the National Environmental Management Act? KwaZulu-Natal is rich in all the ingredients that will make a world-class tourist destination. We have miles of beautiful beaches, rolling valleys and hills, the majestic Drakensberg, and very rich cultural heritage, not to mention delicious banichas. We just need to get our tourism strategy right. We know that our natural heritage is unrivaled and that the link between the success of our tourism economy and our ability to maintain and protect our natural heritage is undeniable. Yet, our conservation efforts continue to face major challenges. Rhino poaching remains a bloody stain on KZN's conservation record, with 325 rhinos slaughtered in 2023 alone and 228 rhinos killed in 2024. Now, while dehorning and staff polygraph testing have helped, and Etia should be commended for these interventions which have brought down the figure, the battle cannot be won without rangers at the forefront. The shocking reality is that there are 367 unfunded ranger vacancies within KZN Ezemvelo Wildlife. These frontline positions must be urgently filled in order to effectively protect our wildlife. KZN's rhinos are not only valuable to us, but they are valuable to the world. Ezemvelo has the potential to regain its place as a world-class environmental management authority, but it must focus on conservation. Its tourism sites, once attracting tourists from around the globe, now languish due to underinvestment and poor management. Ezemvelo must, as a matter of urgency, adopt public-private partnerships to restore these facilities to high standards and to boost tourism revenue. This will directly fund conservation efforts like hiring rangers, fencing reserves, and hiring security personnel to protect our natural assets. On the topic of wildlife management, the DA would like to bring attention to this tragic story of the Mawana elephants, whose fate now lies in the balance. Following grave mismanagement and the elephants' escape from the Mawana Private Reserve, they are being herded from pillar to post, while frustrated communities come into conflict with these distressed animals. In August 2023, Ezemvelo killed 9 elephants, including pregnant cows and calves, after they allegedly caused damage. These elephants and the communities are the victims of a lack of stricter regulations and effective enforcement by Ezemvelo. South Africa is watching, and we cannot let these elephants down. The DA encourages Ezemvelo to proactively seek non-lethal recourse in managing the Mawana elephants. They are an invaluable part of our natural heritage, and not to mention that they are high-functioning sentient beings. Do not let the people of KwaZulu-Natal down. Another elephant in the room, so to speak, is the massive existential threat of climate change. Viral video clips of a tornado ripping through Tongaat and devastating flooding sweeping away people and destroying families and homes are fresh in our memories. Despite this clear threat, Etia's performance indicators on climate change remain vague and inadequate. KZN's climate change strategy should be at the top of the department's priority list. The newly adopted climate change bill mandates provincial action plans for mitigation and resilience, resilience, yet KZN seems unprepared. The dear-led city of Cape Town, though, actively invests in climate-resilient infrastructure and robust disaster management strategies. Adopting decisive action in KZN could similarly save lives and safeguard our future. Lastly, KwaZulu-Natal's air quality monitoring is inadequate. In order to combat climate change, we firstly need to know where our air pollution hotspots are, not only for climate change mitigation intervention, but also for the very well-being of the communities at large. All 6 of KwaZulu-Natal's air quality monitoring stations are currently non-functional, leaving residents blind to the very air that they breathe. Research consistently demonstrates severe health impacts from air pollution, yet without real-time data, our communities remain unprotected. The DARE calls on Etia MEC Reverend Musa Zondi and his department to prioritize this immediate restoration of monitoring stations and the public dissemination of air quality data. This must be non-negotiable. While there may be many challenges, these are not unsolvable. The DARE has consistently demonstrated across South Africa that transparent governance, targeted investment, and relentless accountability can transform our communities. As part of KZN's Government of Provincial Unity, the DARE is committed to action. Together, we can revive KZN's economy, protect its environment, and rebuild its proud reputation as a province of growth and opportunity.
Thank you very much, Honorable Legit. We have received an apology from the Honorable Twala of the EFF, and that brings us to the next Honorable Member from the MK for 8 minutes, the Honorable SMB Sikakhan. Honorable Member, the floor is yours.
Chair, Madam Speaker, Deputy Speaker, MEC, Reverend Zondi, Dabezita, Nkosi Qheliza, our President, J.G. Zuma, members of the Legislature, members of the Progressive Movement, MK, Commanders Morning, members in the gallery, distinguished guests, and KZN people. Honorable Chair, the partnership that the department has with the Moses Kotane Research Institute and South African Farmers Development Agency on the township and the rural economic revitalization strategy is but one of the can of worms for the department. If you are partners, as it's stated, one single partner cannot therefore become an implementing agent of another party, of another partner, at the commercial fee. What is there in common for the partner in the first place? Partnership is different from the sponsorship or contract. Your relationship is simple terms in sponsoring or contracting. Honorable Chair, the Moses Kotane Research Institute for the past 17 years has been operating as partner for the government. One wonder how much of the government money went towards supporting the people of this province, and how much went to the coffers of
ontaba kayikhonjwa abehlisa imali ngemlenze ukuyoyifihla kosofa noma komatrasi. For the 17 years, there has never been any partner since various government departments have been transferring monies to the agency, which has always been operating as a private company without being scheduled as per the Public Finance Management Act. Only now that the status of the agency will change from the playground to a Schedule 3D public entity that adheres to the PFMA. The question is why did it take this long? What has fundamentally changed for the department that prompted the change of the status? Honorable Chair, the department claims that the KZN automated business licensing system led to creation of 179,853 permanent jobs, of which 29,430 are informal. Is this not very interesting? While we do not have first-hand details, this claim is either number crunching or needs better translations, as there is no such things as permanent but informal job. Given the report of the department, it means each participating municipality generated 4,400 permanent jobs by merely switching to the automated business licensing system. Why don't we introduce the system which all municipalities, if the results are such good to be true? Umkhonto wesizwe uyozenzela. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Honourable Member. We have received an apology from the Honourable CM Shinga of the NFP, and we will move on to the next Honourable Member, and that is the Honourable Dr. NNG Mahlaba, the Chair of Chairs from the ANC.
Thank you very much, Honourable Chair. Greetings to the Speaker, Deputy Speaker, Honourable MEC Nondaba, Honourable members of the public in the gallery, HOD. Maybe before I start, Chair, it's very interesting when you listen to honourable members. I mean, some of my honourable members were sitting together in the committee as it was reported, everything was supported. There's never been anything else, but surprisingly, there is something different today. However, I want to say that as the African National Congress, we come to debate here in support of this budget vote simply because we respect our people who voted for us. We want to make sure that there is a sustainable livelihood for our people. As the African National Congress, we believe that all citizens of South Africa have the right to safe and healthy environment and to a life of well-being. It is from this premise that more emphasis was put on the National Development Plan Vision 2030 of environmental sustainability. And in the 55th National Conference of the African National Congress, we took a resolution that should mobilize government to support climate change bill to help South Africa to respond to climate change realities such as droughts and floods. And indeed, in July 2024, it was signed into law. Honorable Chair, I want to start by saying the realities of climate change are not just something that we read and hear about, but it's something that we live with, that we face on year in and year out. And it's something that needs us to be ready and be prepared to deal with it. An example in our province, year in and year out, we face devastating floods that leaves many of our people without their livelihood. And mostly importantly, Honorable Chairperson, is that the effects of climate change are felt mostly by the poor. It is for this reason that as the African National Congress, we believe that we need to always be ready to deal with the climate change. And indeed, as the ANC, we believe that as there are increasing risk of climate change, such as increased frequency of rainfall, a number of hot days that have increased while cooler temperatures have decreased, this calls on us to be ready and be prepared to deal with the realities. It is our considered view that climate change is not only affected by anything else, but also by social vulnerability of our people, by poorly planned development. And this calls upon us to have a proper collaboration also with traditional leaders, with the municipalities, to ensure that where people are placed and where they circle, it's in the places where they are not put in floodline areas, as we have noticed in many instances when there's been floods. It is not necessarily, the challenge is not necessarily caused by policies, because we have enough policies. But as it poses a challenge on us, Honorable MEC, that in this budget, we need to deal with other things which are a contributing factor to what happens and to the impact of climate change. That is to deal with poverty, inequality, and to make sure that we create jobs, we increase the level of education, and we improve also the healthcare of the society. In conclusion, Honorable Chair, I want to say one of the most important things that we need to face as this August House is that as we pass this budget, Honorable MEC, we are not just supporting the budget just because of compliance, but we want to see the budget working for our people. In terms of our beneficiation, we want to make sure that the commercialization process benefits our people. We want to make sure that we implement proper projects in terms of biodiversity. The Alien Species Invasion Program must benefit our people in terms of job creation. It must not, although it is worrying that the number of jobs that will be created has decreased, but it gives us hope that with this budget we can still make a meaningful contribution to our people. Also, we need to reinforce the climate change response by focusing more on green energy and green economy. And also, lastly, we need to make sure that energy efficiency and demand is prioritized in all government buildings to ensure that we proceed with our process of making sure we deal with climate change. Lastly, recycling. We must make sure that waste is properly managed from source until the end. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chair of Chairs. We now move on to the next honorable member from the MK, the Honorable SS Magubane, for 12 minutes.
Honorable Chair of the session, Honorable MEC, honorable members of Umkhonto Wesizwe in the House, the members at the gallery, I greet you all.
Honorable Chair, maybe let me start by responding, before I go to my speech, let me start by responding to the DA members that keeps on talking badly about our President, Jacob Gedleyihlekisa Zuma, not mentioning all the achievements that he did best during his tenure as a president. Number one, you are forgetting that during the tenure of Jacob Zuma, the best achievements he has made, no president can match his one. Number one, the rollout of HIV ARVs was during the time of President Jacob Zuma. Number two, he built 2 universities in this country that no president of this country has ever done during his tenure. Number three, during his tenure, there was an expansion on social grants. That was only during the tenure of Jacob Zuma. The government workers during the tenure of Jacob Zuma received 2-digit increment during the tenure of Jacob Zuma. The infrastructure development, including the upgrading of Transnet and the infrastructure that was happening all over on the roads that were being built in this country, that was only during the time of Jacob Zuma. You are busy here all the time talking that Jacob Zuma, there was money that was lost during his tenure. Where is that money? Where did it go to? Why don't you go to court for that money so that you can clarify what you're talking about? During the tenure of Jacob Zuma, there was free education. At this moment, as we speak, all colleges, the students in the colleges, in the universities are striking for free education. They're not getting money from NSFAS. They're not getting money they're supposed to get as the students. Only during Jacob Zuma's time where there were no strikes on students for free education. So don't go around and talk nonsense about our president. Jacob Zuma, that during his time there were issues. During his time there were more development than we're talking about now. Even it's more than even on the GNU government that is currently on administration. Let me go back to my speech. I see that a lot of DA members really they are confused. On the 26th of March, on the National Council of Provinces debate on the existence of Itala, one DA honorable member stood up there and he mentioned a very strange statement that they cannot support a continued misuse of taxpayers on the existence of Itala. They cannot support an institution that failed to meet minimum requirements set by the Prudential Authority. That resulted to it to be put under a payment administrator. That's a DA member, the way they are confused. The issue with Itala is not about meeting the minimum requirements. It does not start from there. The issue about Itala does not start from Itala a misuse of financial reports whatsoever. It's not there. You must familiarize yourself with the Auditor General's report. On Itala, on the Auditor General's report, and financial statements and performance reports, they are on the green. Procurement and contract management, they are on the green. Expenditure management, they are on the green. Assets management, they are on the green. Liability management, they are on the green. There's nothing wrong with the management of Itala. Both Itala Development Corporation and both Itala Stock Limited. On Auditor General's report, they are on the green. There's nothing wrong about them. Let me tell you where is the issue about Itala, because you don't know. We will teach you today what's happening with Itala. The problem is with the legislative failures and the absence of provincial banking framework. That is what needs to be fixed on the issue of Itala. A key failing on Itala's regulatory treatment lies with the South African government. The South African is their unwillingness to amend the Banks Act. If you can amend the Bank Act, that will accommodate the provincial developmental financial institutions. That's why we need to assist Itala. There's no mismanagement of finance. Itala's struggles were not simply due to financial management, but its structural regulatory barriers that prevented from evolving into a fully fledged banking institution. Unlike the State Bank institutions that are backed up by the government. We're talking about DBSA, the Development Bank of South Africa, and the Industrial Development Corporation, which operate on a distinct legislative framework, allowing flexible financial instruments. Itala is constrained by banking regulations that did not account for its unique provincial role. Itala is a development bank. Go tell your members, those who sit on the NCOP, they must not confuse South Africans and Itala. There is an issue. There's no issue on Itala. There were no issue even before. We must go and change the Bank Act. So DA members are confused. Actually, you don't know what you're doing here. That is why you are so confused. Honorable MSC, so that I cannot be confused by DA members, let me go back strictly to my speech. We are not supporting the budget, not for the mere fact that we are just not supporting the budget. There are issues that need to be resolved in the department. Number one, in the Department of Economic Development, Tourism and Environmental Affairs, there are strategies, plans that prioritize by the department. It needs to be achieved by 2030. One of them is to create decent and sustainable jobs. Number two is to create inclusive growth and economy. Number three, on the same priorities by the department, it's inclusive growth, economy, it's to create sustainable jobs, and also reduced concentration and monopoly and expand small business sectors. When we come to KZN Growth Fund, their concentration or area of concentration in our province does not cover our province geographically. The KZN Growth Fund, when you look at their APP report that they've presented to us a few weeks back, they're only concentrating in eThekwini, they're concentrating in Mgungundlovu, they're concentrating in Ilembe, they're concentrating in KwaDukuza. But in KwaZulu-Natal, we have Northern KZN that covers Newcastle, Vryheid, Uthungela, Dundee, Bergville, all those areas. They have not given any support to those areas. But their mandate is almost the same as of the Department of Economic Development. That says they must create sustainable and decent jobs geographically everywhere. So their model of operating is contradictory to what their report says. Because their report says geographically they must cover all. And it says they prioritize companies or projects that are 51% black owned. But those companies, out of the 17 that they've assisted from 2012 to 2025, only 5 black industries were supported by that department. So how can you say then the mandate and the model of operation says we prioritize 51% black owned, but you don't cover the whole of the province of KwaZulu-Natal? So why do you say you need to create sustainable and decent jobs, whereby you only focusing on a certain district, you don't cover everyone? It's the same thing as the developments that are happening in Richards Bay. If you put concentration on Richards Bay, you don't cover the whole of KwaZulu-Natal. That will mean all the youth and everybody who's got skills from other towns must move to Richards Bay to acquire job opportunities. What about the infrastructure of government in those towns and those areas, where all the youth needs to move to Richards Bay to get job opportunities? So we are still saying the department must put proper plans and strategies that will be geographically covering the whole of KZN so that everybody can get the equal opportunities, not only in urban areas, the rural areas as well, as specified as well on the mandate of the KZN Growth Fund, that they're also concentrating on rural areas, on townships, but now on their reports, no rural areas are seen on those reports. So we are saying, go and fix. We went for an oversight. As the department, we went to Mhlabialingana. We went to Intsholayo Fishing Project. That project has got no marketing strategy. Yes, they're doing the job. They're going to produce the fish. Where they're going to sell the fish? So that means the strategy of the department is incomplete, because you must put a marketing strategy that will say, after the final production, how do you take that product to the market? And the market is very competitive because there are private sectors in the market. So as the department, after we have invested money to whatsoever project, you need to make sure that after you've invested money, you also invest marketing strategies with assistance to make sure that the product is taken into the market and is going to be competitive to the private sector product. We went for another oversight where Gukando Utayel, congregated what iron, congregated iron. That congregated iron, that one is no more competitive in the market.
Magubane?
It's no more competitive.
Magubane, just a second. Kindly address the presiding officer, not members directly, or the MEC directly.
Thanks, Honorable Chair, but there's no member that I was speaking to.
Your members in your question,
Honorable Chair, I think you're disturbing me.
No.
Really?
Allow me to conduct the affairs of the House. I have asked you to do something, and kindly.
I'll do so.
Thank you.
I'll do so. Honorable MEC, we need to do oversight on all projects that the department has invested on.
You've done that just
through you, Chairperson. Honorable MEC, the department needs to make sure that there are marketing strategies for all the investments that they've made to any project. Secondly, oversight must be done to check if the investment that was done or the product that is being produced is not anymore out of competition, because it won't help anyone if then you continue to invest and then you don't do oversight. Whatever that is being produced there, it's out of competition. It won't make any difference. It won't create any jobs. It won't create anything. So let's wake up as a department.
Thank you very much for your contribution. The next honorable member is from the IFP. It is the Honorable Obi Kunene. For 10 minutes, the Deputy Chair of Chairs. The floor is all yours, Deputy Chair of Chairs.
Honorable Chairperson, Honorable MEC, Honorable Deputy Speaker, Honorable members of this House, the HOD, Secretary to the Legislature officials present, and honored guests in the gallery. On behalf of Inkatha Freedom Party, I address this House on the 2025-26 budget and performance of the department under the capable leadership of the Honorable MEC Zondi. Let me begin by appreciating the role that the Honorable Zondi has played since assuming office by giving direction the department has to follow in fulfilling its mandate. Under his leadership, the department is showing commendable improvements in administrative efficiency and programmatic performance. Notably, Program 1 administration recorded a leap from 56% target achievement in Q1 to 78% by Q3 of the 2024-2025 financial year. We also note the department's unwavering commitment to the transformation agenda, especially the target to ensure 50% of employment of women. However, we must be honest, the department has not yet reached this benchmark. This must receive attention. We make a call that the department needs to strengthen its recruitment pipelines, address systematic gaps, and create an enabling environment for women to ascend into senior roles, especially at the senior management service level, where progress remains low. One of the department's primary mechanisms to empower the historically excluded is the KZN Umnoto Fund, previously called OVF. While this initiative has unlocked much needed capital for small businesses, we cannot ignore that 10% of the funded entities are currently untraceable and 5% of the funded projects suffered from poorly constructed business plans. We must ask, how did these entities pass due diligence and what controls are now in place to ensure greater accountability? The department has acknowledged the gaps and is pursuing the digitization project in application and monitoring systems. We in the IFP fully support this move. Modern problems require modern solutions. A robust case management system is now underway. Once fully operational, it will streamline business licensing and enhance consumer complaint resolutions, allowing for real-time reporting and greater transparency at the municipal level. Speaking of municipalities, Honorable Chairperson, it is deeply concerning that money transferred to municipalities for economic infrastructure often disappears into thin air. The delay in implementing projects hurt ordinary people. It is the street vendor in Itopo who waits for a promised stall. It is the young entrepreneur in Manguzi left without trading infrastructure. The departments must, in the new financial year, adopt a stricter conditionality model and insist on performance-based disbursements with quarterly reporting and clawback clauses for underperformance. We must also contract the underperformance of municipal projects from previous financial years. Take, for instance, the Madadini Clothing and Textile Hub, which the Portfolio Committee reported on as one example. The department has allocated 5 million this year through Itala Development Finance Corporation, but even this may not be enough given the existing financial constraints. Similarly, the 500,000 allocated for upgrades at regional airports like the one in Lulund is clearly insufficient given the desired need for fire stations, hangar, and runway lighting. Honorable Chairperson, the budget table for this financial year stands at 3.6 billion rand, growing steadily over the MTF period. A significant portion, which is 66%, is allocated to our public entities, which in terms of the Honorable MEC's address of today are delivery arms of economic development in this province. We are encouraged by this investment. Itala projects such as the shared manufacturing facility for chemical and detergents, which was 10 million, and the PUBC Paper Incubation Center, which is 10.5 million, are forward-thinking and job-creating projects. We also acknowledge the graduation of small enterprises into fully fledged black-owned industrial firms. These include projects like the Automotive Service Hub and KZN Bakery Incubator. They reflect the department's growing commitment to building industrial capacity from the ground up. We're equally excited about the department's 70% target for improving the ease of doing business. This is not just a number, it is about clearing red tape for entrepreneurs. And we are supportive of the program of the department to rehabilitate small towns. One of the key successes of this department, which we think we must mention in this debate, is the performance of Program 4, Economic Research, Strategy and Planning, which achieved 100% of its target across all quarters in 2024-2025. This program plays a vital role in supporting evidence-based policy and guiding our province's economic direction. On governance, we are pleased with the recent rationalization of entities, and we hope that as they now are properly listed under Schedule 3CD of the PFMA, they will perform better. The department has made great strides in institutionalizing quarterly performance oversight, ensuring that public entities are not only funded but are also held accountable for delivery. This debate, Honourable Chairperson, cannot be complete if I don't touch on ITALA-SOC challenges. It is a matter of so serious concern that up to now this matter is not resolved. It is disappointing to know that depositors into ITALA have up to now had no access to their funds. The majorities of depositors into ITALA are the marginalized and up-and-coming businessmen and businesswomen of our province. We are concerned that there seems not to be a solution in sight to resolve this intractable problem. I must, for the record, mention that I was disappointed to see that when the CEO of ITALA appeared before the Finance Portfolio Committee, together with other entities of this department, on the 17th April, he was ill-prepared for that meeting, which prompted that another meeting be set, which I believe took place on the 22nd of April. We are not privy to the outcome of the meeting held on the 22nd of April, other than seeing the headlines of the Witness newspaper of yesterday, which read thus, quote, 30 million rand monthly expenses threatened to bury the troubled ITALA, close quote. We hope that there will be greater effort that will be put to ensure that ITALA survives. One continues to wonder why this appetite on the part of the Prudential Authority to close ITALA, the bank of the poor and the marginalized. We commend the Honourable MEC for the visionary leadership that he provides to this department. To quote the Honourable MEC, ITALA is just not a financial institution, but is an instrument of transformation, empowerment, and inclusive development. It will be amiss of me, Honourable Chairperson, if I don't respond to Honourable Ngobo and Honourable Hadebe, who referred to Inkatha as Abadayisi. I just remembered when they said this, that is an English saying that goes, don't argue with a fool because people may not know the difference. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Kunene. We have now reached the point where the MEC will respond to the debate, and we call upon the Honorable K.M. Zondi, the MEC for Economic Development, to respond to the debate for 20 minutes. MEC, the floor is yours.
Honorable Chairperson and honorable members, let me thank all honorable members that contributed positively to this debate this afternoon and this evening. The robust nature of the exchanges that went on here were taken on board by ourselves in the department and the entities of the department. We value the contribution that members make because without that interaction, we cannot actually succeed to run such a huge ship that this department is, and the important role that it plays in the entire economy of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. We could not, Honorable Chairperson, have had the time to mention everything that needed to be mentioned because the department is huge. But we will follow this up later on during the year by making further announcements on other things good things that are going on in the department in an effort to inform the public who are the major stakeholders of what we are trying to do in the department, which is the economic transformation of the province of KwaZulu-Natal for the betterment of all the citizens of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Having said that, Honorable Chairperson, let me just thank the Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee, on economic development, the Honorable Ndebele, for the report that he tabled and the emphasis that he made on the challenges of the OVF fund, which is now not a fund. And of course, I think we take it on board that those challenges are being attended to because they are known to us in the department, and working with the portfolio committee, we think we will be able to overcome these challenges in due course. Thank you for supporting the budget. The same applies to the Honorable Chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Environmental Affairs, the Honorable Piani Mloyi, who also submitted a detailed report on the budget and stated a number of concerns that have come to the attention of the Portfolio Committee, such as the shortfall of 7,000 EPWP job opportunities in Envir. Envir is attending to this in order to make sure that this shortfall, which the Honorable Chairperson pointed to, does not occur in the unfolding year. In fact, there are practical steps that both the department and Envir are taking to ensure that we cover this gap in a positive way in order to avoid the recurrence of what the Honorable Chairperson complained about. Several honorable members harped on the intractable problem of the poor ability of our department to manage the air quality of our province. Part of the problem is generated by underfunding. But we hope that with the budget that we have been given and the highlight that the honorable members have made on this particular area, we will be able to focus on this area in order to make improvements, because ensuring that there is quality air monitoring and management is of vital importance for the good health of the citizens of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Honorable Ngobo of the MKP, he mentioned that we needed to fast-track support for the black-owned businesses in township and rural areas. I think the Honorable Ngobo is in accord with what the department is trying to do. That is exactly what we are focusing on in our program to improve township and rural businesses, and working with the portfolio committee in which she sits, we accept that this is the area of focus where the portfolio committee and the members can also assist the management of our department to fast track the applicability of the programs of the department in this area. Because the truth is, those areas were left behind. They were left behind. It cannot be that we will continue for years to come neglecting the areas that were left behind, because we'll be missing the bus, we'll be missing the important mission with which this department is charged, which is the rapid economic transformation, so that all our people are on board in the economic improvement, and that they are able to enjoy the fruits of the economy of our province. She also mentioned the issue of wild animals escaping. She was not the only one. There are other members who harped on this one. It is a challenge that is occasioned by the fact that poachers constantly damage the fences that we put up, and therefore these animals escape and cause a lot of damage in the surrounding communities. We call upon all communities that are joining our conservation areas in KwaZulu-Natal to work in partnership with us in the department and as Envir in particular, so that there could be a positive interface between wild animals and communities, so that we can reduce instances where animals become a danger to members of the public. There were several members, such as the Honorable Pan Prakash and others, who insisted that the department has fallen short on the filling in of posts. We are glad to announce that the department is working right now and hard to ensure that these posts are filled, subject, of course, to budgetary constraints that we do have. We will do so because if these posts are not filled, it also hampers the work of the department, and therefore we are not able to do what we are supposed to do in the department and in the entities. The Honorable Hadebe of the MK Party, I'm sorry that, he's still around. Yes, Honorable Hadebe mentioned a number of things. But one of the things that the Honorable Hadebe said, he said, I hate poverty, I hate inequality. We also do so in this department, Honorable Hadebe. We cannot agree with you more, because the continued existence of poverty and inequality defeats the whole purpose of the existence of this department. But the area where I think I need to take the honorable member on board, he lamented the fact that the budget excludes traditional areas. This is far from the truth, honorable member. We are active in KwaXolo traditional area. We are active in Emacunini area in Msinga. We have pumped over 30 million rand in Matimatolo.
Forgive me for stopping you, but I will remind you that you must address the presiding officer and not the member directly.
Thank you, Honorable Chairperson. Chairperson, the Honorable Hadebe decried that we are neglecting traditional areas. We are pumping over 30 million rand in Ematimatolo under Inkosi Sithole, and we are reaching a point where we are going to hand over those projects. That is in a traditional area. We are active in the Matenjwa traditional area in Mkanyagute, building crucial economic empowerment projects. We are active in Zikali traditional area in Mkanyagute, Kwatembe, which is in Mkanyagute. We are assisting in the building of 175 million Togazi Royal Lodge in Usutu traditional area. That is in a traditional area in KwaZulu-Natal, just to cite quite a few, etc., Honorable Hadebe. I'm sure you would be glad to note that the department is not neglecting traditional areas and rural areas, because unless we can bring rural areas on board, we will miss what we need to do, which is to fast-track economic development. Honorable Winkler harped on the need for us to fast-track on the hemp and cannabis development for job creation. I cannot agree with you more. Through you, Honorable Chairperson. We will need, as a department, to do more in this area, and I'm sure all the initiatives that we have taken to focus on this area will help us to accelerate development and to ensure that more and more of our people, particularly in depressed economic areas, can be brought on board in economic activity in areas that were left behind in the past in this province of KwaZulu-Natal. She also, Honorable Chairperson, through you, said that as Mvelo need to embark on public-private initiatives. That's exactly what I announced when I said that they are now embarking on the commercialization program, and exactly the public-private initiatives to ensure that our beautiful parks can be restored to their former glory, so that we can attract more tourists and make them attractive to tourists, so that we do not lose this vital business to private entities that are in competition with our facilities. She also, Honorable Chairperson, referred to the killing of the Moana elephants. I know, Honorable Chairperson, that I have dealt with this question over and over again, responding to the Honorable Member, assuring her that actually Moana elephants are not part of our elephants, are not part of what we are doing in Mvelo. They are escaping from privately owned conservation areas. And when those people are not able to do what they are supposed to do in terms of the provision of the law, they become the responsibility of Mvelo, and Mvelo, acting within the prescripts that are managed by national legislation, has to do what has got to be done as a last result, not because we are trigger happy, not because we want to eliminate and mow down the elephants and other stray animals, but because they become a menace to the public. It cannot be that we can ignore the problem caused by these animals marauding and subjecting innocent people and helpless people to danger. Honorable Skakane decried the fact that the Moses Kotane Research Institute works in partnership with government. It was established precisely to ensure that the government across the board in KwaZulu-Natal does not have to rely on private sector research institutions and waste a lot of money purchasing research products. It is doing exactly what it is supposed to do. Therefore, I think it is a compliment rather than a complaint, as she was actually complaining about this. Honorable Chairperson, the Honorable Dr. Mahlaba also reminded us that the citizens of KwaZulu-Natal have a right to climate safety. The Honorable Member is quite correct in calling our attention to the need for us to be agile to the ravages of climate change with which we are contending. We are calling on members of the public not to take issues of climate change for granted. We hope that together with them, the educational programs that we will roll out, members of the community for their own safety will cooperate with us and participate with us so that we can overcome or withstand the full ravages of the climate change challenges. Lastly, Honorable Chairperson, the Honorable Makubane said that they cannot support this budget of the department because, among other things, we are concentrating on the improvements at Richards Bay. But most of my speech, Honorable Makubane, I thought it would make you happy, because I spent a lot of time actually addressing your constituency, addressing what this department is focusing on doing in reviving the economy of Newcastle, not only dealing with the ArcelorMittal issue, but reviving Capochem and reviving other industries that have actually gone past. We are focusing on that area so that the young graduates do not have to migrate to Richards Bay, but must stay in an area, because we recognize that a town as vital as Newcastle, if we allow it to fall, it will be devastating to the economy of KwaZulu-Natal. It does not only apply to Newcastle, but it applies to all other small towns to the north of the province of KwaZulu-Natal. The Honorable Gunene also made contributions, Chairperson, relating to challenges in the OVF, which is now known as Mnoto Fund. We are happy that the department is doing everything in its power to transform this fund, which is a fund that has been established to play a crucial role in the transformation of the economy of the province of KwaZulu-Natal, especially to ensure that the poorest of the poor can have a stake in the economy of our province. He also harped on the problem of Italasok. Honorable Chairperson, I've written to the Honorable Speaker requesting that at the next sitting I can table as an extensive report on Italasok so that we can focus on this problem and apprise honorable members on where we are in trying to resolve these problems, on where we need to go in order to overcome, in order to ensure that we do not lose this facility, which is very crucial for the development of the people of KwaZulu-Natal. Honorable Chairperson, allow me to thank you for guiding the debate so well, and to thank honorable members for their input. I thank you, Honorable Chairperson.
Thank you very much, Honorable MEC. Honorable members, before we adjourn the House, we have the next few days of debate coming up. I would like to remind honorable members about the decorum of the House and that it must be maintained at all costs. And we must remember the conduct of members, and it is important for whips of parties to ensure that members remember this. Honorable members are honorable members and honorable members of the House. I have repeated it severally. So we must be careful of the gestures that we make to each other. For example, if we say that other members are mad and things like that, we must always remember that we must follow the rules of the House, including things like our devices and whether we eat in the House, or all of these kinds of behaviors are important to maintain the decorum of the House and for the proceedings of the House to be in order. Having reminded the members of that, we have now come to the end on the debate on vote 4. Thank you, honorable members.